How's it going, guys, and welcome to this live showdown between the Warriors of Chaos and the Dark Elves. In this match, we're actually going to be using Kolek for our Lord, and even though he might seem like a bit of a strange pick against the Dark Elves because of Dark Shard Fire and other pressure they can put on heavily, large armored targets, I still think you really need him because it's so tough to take down Malekith when you're using like Sigvald or some of those more low tier chaos. I mean, Sigvald is pretty good for his cost, but still, I feel like you really need that punching power to take down Malekith. As such, we're going to be compensating for, the fact that he's very easy to target with a very wide army. So you can see we have a couple Chaos Warriors, we have 2 Forsaken to pressure the back line, Chaos Knights, 3 groups of Hounds, and then on top of that, I think we're also rocking a couple Chaos Marauders. So the Marauders are obviously not going to be great against Dark Elf Infantry, who are very good. I mean, Black Art Corsairs can shred them pretty easily, if I'm not mistaken. And on top of that, they're probably going to have Harganeth Executioners and units like that. So the Chaos Warriors and the Forsaken will probably do most of the fighting in the front line with the assistance of Lord of Death. And then we're just going to use those Marauders just to try and zerg him. We're just going to try and get in that back line, because if we can then shut down his back line, I'm pretty sure Kolek will be able to just run free and have a good old time. So, and on top of that, he might have some repeater crossbows. We have Poison Hounds to chase those guys down, and the repeater crossbows I think have like 80-something speed. So if I'm not mistaken, the Hounds are actually quite a bit faster. So if we can shut down that focus fire in Kolek, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to take this game. But again, you never know. The Dark Elves are tricksy. They got all kinds of traps, and he might, be going with the build with Harganeth and, Death Hags on the altars to just really win that infantry battle. So there's all kinds of wild strategy they can bring to the table, but I still think that Kolek, despite the perceived weaknesses in this matchup, is probably the optimal pick in a competitive game. So this is actually really good for me, though, having all this terrain and kind of forests and things like that, because his archers definitely can get obstructed a little bit. He's probably going to, I wonder where he would deploy. I mean, is this actually like swamp terrain down here? I think it is, so he's probably not going to want to fight in there. So he's going to be advancing here. I do have a little bit of a hill, so we'll probably be meeting just in the middle here, which is fine. Great, so let's get our Chaos Warriors kind of in the main center line right here. We could also saturate some Marauders with them. That actually might not be a bad idea just for like width, but I really want to have a ton of Marauders just pressure in the back and just have my main core actually like hold together pretty well. So we're going to get the Forsaken on both flanks of the formation like this, and that should be fine. Looking pretty good there. On top of that, Kolek's going to be riding dirty in the middle with his caster there, and of course the Death Caster is probably the optimal option here. We're going to get our Chaos Knights kind of in the back as well. These guys are just going to be looking to fight those big battles, pressure the back line, just do all kinds of shenanigans. 3 and 4, so these guys can be right here, and number 4 can be on the far side as well. And you really need to have a ton of pressure on this matchup. So we're actually going to get the Marauders and just kind of put them on the outskirts of this formation. Just for the sake of like management, we're going to put them in group 1 for now, just so they'll move together. And then when we want to micro them separately, we can grab them. Great, so we have a very, very wide formation. We should be able to put a ton of pressure on our opponent. It should be micro intensive, but thankfully my hand is feeling pretty good today. I've been taking a break the past few days and not going too hard in the paint. So, all right, let's do it to it, and good luck to my opponent. Let's have some good old fashioned fun. So it looks like he's deployed over here, so we're going to get our main host and have them move forward. Our Chaos Knights can, let's see, he does have some Coldwind Riders. I would actually like to fight those guys. That's not a problem. We're going to get the Hounds kind of pressuring in the back here, just kind of starting to infiltrate. And oh, it looks like we do have some shenanigans over here. So we do have some Hounds over here that can definitely pressure. And these ones, do we want to pull them and have them go after those Dark Riders? And also we can detach some Marauders to kind of chase a little bit, which is fine, because these guys can't shoot while they're moving. So as long as we're chasing them, it's totally fine. Great, so our main host, we can keep it moving forward. Our Knights and everything, let's actually pull them up on the high ground and see if we can like force around this way. I think that might be a little bit more prudent. Looks like Malekith's going to be on the ground. So the Forsaken, we want to pull around. We can go ahead and pull these Marauders in to kind of collapse the pocket. These guys can go here, and the Chaos Warriors, we can just kind of engage across the front line and just have a jolly old time. It's gonna be a good one. I think his infantry core is a little bit stronger than ours, which is tough, but you know what? We're still gonna give it our all. So the Forsaken should be able to force back there. It looks like his guys in the back are getting hunted. Let's actually use those Marauders to kind of pin those guys down. And Kolek is relatively safe, so we can go ahead and just go after Malekith right now, and we should have Lord of the Storm pretty soon. And you can see we actually probably going to get right onto those Dark Shards, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to say, but the Forsaken here we need to path through like ASAP. We need to shut down that missile play, which is going to be good. And Kolek's going after Malekith, which is what we want. We can go ahead and use the Lord of the Storm on these Harganeth Executioners. And the Chaos Knights, let's actually just run them right down the middle and see what kind of pressure we can apply. Great. So we do have Lord of Death as well, so we're going to use that on another group of Harganeth Executioners, and we do have our Forsaken in the back. And Kolek is actually on Malekith, which is good. We want that, but it looks like we're not getting that much damage, so that's a little bit tricky. And these Hounds in the back are still chasing these repeater crossbows off the battlefield, which is great. These Hounds in the front line are just trying to collapse his formation, which is going pretty well for us. We do have our Deathcaster. We just have to watch out for Witch Elves in the back, but I don't mind actually having Kolek fight these Coldwind Knights, because in the meantime, we have a lot of troops pressuring his Dark Shards in the back, so hopefully we can just kind of crumble him that way. So these Hounds, let's pull them up and around and see if we can get them going over there after those guys. And it looks like there's going to be some foul witchcraft going on over here. Not sure what it is, but now that our Knights are free, we can just kind of collapse downhill here. Let's get the Chaos Knights actually fighting on Malekith. I think that's going to be a better call. Great. So far everything's going to code for the most part. We obviously did lose this part of the battle, but that's okay. We can concede some areas. The Black Art Corsairs, let's get the Hounds chasing those. And the Hounds have caught his Dark Riders on the far side of the battlefield, which is great. Kolek's having a good time. He does have some good support here. We are chasing his Dark Shards off the battlefield. We do have 23 Forsaken, so let's get them going here and get these Hounds kind of collapsing here. We really want to shut down that Dark Shard, because that's like one of the only weaknesses we really have as Kolek. Great, so we're going to get that Spirit Leash on Malekith. We should be able to take him down here. I don't foresee him getting away very easily. We can get these guys kind of going up the hill to fight there, and these guys can re-engage here, and hopefully that'll go well. Balance of Power is starting to tilt just in our favor, so let's go ahead and start working on Malekith again. Let's get our caster in there. We just have like a swarming back line, so even though he was able to deal with a lot of our threats and had pretty good micro and was on top of his game, like we were able to just swarm with like Marauders and just like low tier units, and forcing him to deal with them with expensive units is kind of the idea. Let's get these Marauders re-engaged here. Obviously going to lose that fight, but it's not a problem. In Malekith, we can kind of keep chasing down with Kolek, which is going to be pretty strong. Let's get these Chaos Knights going after that, and honestly, these two together should be able to deal with Malekith. And having those Knights on that, altar type unit is going to be very strong. So looks like we feasted on the Dark Shards for the most part, so let's actually grab them and have them go. Do we want to finish off these Repeater Crossbows? I think we do. So these guys can go here, just kind of keep feasting, and we don't need two groups of Hounds. Let's grab one, have them go right there. We'll get the Marauders and everyone else collapsing in, and Malekith's trying to run away. Obviously, he does have moves like Jagger a little bit. We do have Lord of the Storms. Let's pop that on those Witch Elves right there. And we do have another Spirit Leash. Let's go ahead and use that on Malekith as well. And that should be good. All right, great. So the Death Hag is going to be going down relatively shortly. We're going to try and get the Hounds like up and around and have them go after Malekith. And it looks like we should be able to finish these guys off. Man, Malekith's got some wheels on that limo. I did not think it would be that fast. So let's go here. Death Hag should go down shortly. Let's actually get Kolek working on the Death Hag. A little bit of a mistake not doing that earlier. And check the far side of the battlefield. Looks like our Hounds are going to be chasing those guys, and we were able to shatter them. So let's pull these infantry back into the mainline fight. Balance Power is very heavily in our favor right now. You get those Poison Hounds right on top of Malekith, which is going to be great. Let's stand your ground, might as well. We don't have enough for Fate of Being right now, but it's okay. We got that good surround right here. These Chaos Warriors obviously don't really need to be fighting here. And that's going to be all she wrote. My opponent's going to withdraw, and GG. Yeah, Malekith was obviously dead there. He was just going to get pounded on by Kolek. So as far as the general build goes, I think that Kolek is the way to go. I mean, you saw that he had Dark Shards and Repeater Crossbows, but if you then compensate with that and get like Hounds and just tons of backline pressure, the Dark Elf infantry is pretty expensive, but Chaos also have good infantry. Like Chaos Warriors can stand and trade even with elite Dark Elf infantry. They will lose, but they're going to give it back a little bit, which is good. But you can really swarm them, and Hounds can shut down Repeater Crossbows very, very easily. They can counter that with Dark Riders a little bit, but again, he's probably going to want that Dark Shard fire for that heavy, very heavy armor-piercing damage and that type of stuff. So I definitely still think that Kolek is the way to go. The Forsaken, pretty good choices. You saw like he was able to counter me really well with a charge from the Cold One Knights, but then like when he charges the Cold One Knights into the Forsaken, it opens up other aspects of my game, and that's kind of the whole strategy with Chaos. You're just trying to force openings in their formation. I definitely think having a little bit more backline protection for his not for his Dark Riders, but for like maybe cutting, I don't know, maybe I'm not a huge fan of the Death Hag in this matchup. I mean, she did pretty good, I guess, and was able to push my line back, but maybe cut her, get some more backline protection, and maybe a couple Dark Riders to help fend off the Hounds, or just some more mobile pressure, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to say, because I liked his build, to be honest. You can even go cheaper and just like replace the Black Ark Corsairs with the Bleak Swords, but yeah, I don't know. The Black Ark Corsairs seem pretty good. They can trade well with low tier Chaos Infantry, especially if I'm trying to swarm. But against Chaos Warriors, they're just going to get melted pretty bad. But I liked his build quite a bit. I just think he needed a little bit more tools to kind of protect those Dark Shards, as well as the Dark Riders with the Repeater Crossbows. And having Malekith on the Dragon in this matchup is somewhat safe. The Black Dragon breath can be really devastating against Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights, and of course, having the Fear and Terror out can be pretty powerful as well. But having him on a Chariot is good also. I mean, the Chariot racked up 74 kills. He was able to kind of outrun me, actually, from Kolek. Like, I had to pull Poison Hounds to catch him. So there was some serious shenanigans there for sure. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Warriors of Chaos versus Dark Elves game. Very well played to my opponent, Pecorin. Look forward to running into you again on ladder. And guys, have an excellent night and take care.